I worked with Cindy for about a year while I was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it. And so, well, and I read the bioscience vertical, and in that one, I
Cindy and I both watched the same day. And see ya. Congrats. That wasn't intentional until like the last. It was crazy. We're like, shit, we have not the same last name. I came out the door. Yeah, officially. I tend to not be. Like busy water, like machine or actual just normal water? There's a good chance. Oh, cool. Okay.
Facilitated like 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Or organized. I have also
Thank you for doing that.
of course. Okay. You're right. You're right. Okay.
I'm not working on that. I don't want to be here.
You're right. You're right.
It took a year in between the first few. It was supposed to work. We have another one downstairs. Just on water. I saw Josh.
Oh yes.
Thank you all. All these are
Oh,
There is two, no. But what are you planning to do in December? I'm at the new show, just from like, alright,
I think you guys are really screwing up all like new weird looks, but so I'm not really.
yeah, I chose
So you guys are good. We will tell her that so we try to do this. I think we are going to do no, we don't pick that in school. The reason we don't pick winners is we think first things to pick winners better. We love this. We think that if VCs are well, the VCs need to get their 10x to make up for the dogs. We don't think we're going to be any better. So again, our goal is to make it better so that at an average company, maybe we have 5 years. Actually, as we're still going a few months later. One of the last months later,
first you start to set the bar.
So like that's kind of all these projects.
We haven't finished it, so we kind of started.
Oh yeah? Are you seeing the blue?
No, we're not.
Both, but
It'll be like that.
demo is
And
just
power.
much more.
No, the power, still. Yeah, like the device to run that power rate. Exactly.
I know it's in here, but it's clearly around. It's not hacking.
We'll put up a link to the link. So like just screenshots of that. What do you guys do? Did you finish up?
Don't worry about it. The one thing I would say is don't preach it.
Oh, hey, can I have my first one? Well, but I can find Are you sure?
Cut them off that's That's all I'm doing too. Becomes your cursor really fast.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, y'all, how's it going?
Good.
All right, the energy's still good.
Yes.
We haven't fully beaten you down. That is wonderful. Okay, this is the 20th program for the Austin community. We've run with UT Austin, and it is really weird. This has been quite a journey to go on. I'm going to talk a little bit of some slides y'all have seen before about the official version of where we've gone, but there's just a lot going on here. There is a time when Bart and Joel slept on the floor together. This also, at a program, it also reminded me of one time Maya and I were running a program in San Antonio, and they lost our reservation, so there's only one room. Maya and I also slept in a bed together that night. There was the time we ran a program, our first program in Alaska, that we had no facilitators other than Thomas, who lived in Barcelona at the time. And he flew from Barcelona to Alaska. It took him 27 hours to get there. And the program had 9 people in it. But a good company came out of that program. It's been a hell of a journey. Right? I told you about the Germans and sex, drugs, and JavaScript. That was terrible. But it's been really special and amazing that we've gone this far. And so I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative for all y'all being part of this. So to kick this off, we would like to acknowledge Capital Factory and Josh real quick for letting us in. We office here. Capital Factory has been a really key part of our journey. Josh actually pulled me aside many, many years ago and said, you guys need to focus on universities. This is the lane you need. And right now it seems like you're serving everyone, which this was a case of us trying to teach entrepreneurship and the cobbler's kids having new shoes. And that was actually a big moment for us to learn that, hey, this is our lane, this is our market, and from there to grow on. So if we could just acknowledge Josh and Capital Factory. And the MSTC program has also been really wonderful to us in our growth, and they support this program and have supported it for a couple years now. I'd like to introduce our panelists. This is a very special OG panel. All these folks have an interesting history with 3-Day Startup. So over here we've got Alec Wilson, who organized the program in 2013. 2012. So back when it was a much looser kind of event. We have Josh, of course, who we just mentioned with Capital Factory. We have Perry, who participated forever ago and now runs nicely noted. We have Lisa McDonald, who is attached to ATI. And again, just a reminder for y'all, when we started, we were a bunch of overconfident idiots who thought we were a lot cooler than we were. And her organization, ATI, said, listen, you can go around town and tell people that you know us. Bart was a really key part in that, and that was really meaningful for us to people. They didn't really take us seriously, but they took us more seriously than they would have if we hadn't done that. And then Brill Flint, who was a panelist, I think the very, very first one. So 20 programs later in Austin, here we are. So we could acknowledge them real quick. There's another cast of characters that are going to need some very special thanks, but we're going to do that once we get through these pitches. So just some backstory on 3-Day Startup. Our big idea is that entrepreneurship is a force that changes the world, and the world is changing rapidly. Entrepreneurs manage that change really well, and so we teach that through experience education. Other disciplines do this approach and do it well, but most universities still teach entrepreneurship in a very theoretical way. So our big idea is, let's go do what happens at an early stage company, and this is going to create entrepreneurs. It's very much focused on education, but we've been lucky enough to have some really good companies come through here. Google bought, let's see who they bought. They bought Fly Labs. This program came out of our first program, this company came out of our first program in Germany. Educase got acquired a little bit ago. These guys make protein out of crickets. These guys make livestock mats. This came out of one of our programs in Nebraska. But we have a lot of companies, and we don't count them just if it's some people with an idea working on something. We only count it if they've raised significant money, gotten into a prestigious accelerator, or have customers way beyond mom and dad. Also, just to mention, our Global Roundup Conference is a really key part of this. You've now gone through this experience, and you're sleep deprived, and you've kind of joined this cult. Well, the Cult Gathering is at the Global Roundup, which we host here at Capital Factory, and we're about to run our 4th iteration of it this summer. But if you want to meet people from Australia, from Austria, from all over the world who've shared this experience, it's a great way to encounter them. We also do our Entrepreneurial Excellence Awards for people who are moving the needle of entrepreneurship in their communities, as well as great founders and great members of university entrepreneurship teams. We also do this inside of companies. We love you, students. You are our heart. You're also very, very broke. And so we've had the pleasure of running this in about 20, 30 different times inside of corporations who are not broke. And so if you value this experience and enjoyed it, I would love to talk to you later about how you might get into some companies and continue to fund programs like this. That being said, I'm going to go into the guidelines very quickly. As you all know, the pitches will be 5 minutes. Feedback will be 5 minutes. Feedback will be from the panelists only this time, so a little different than how it's gone. Shayna's going to be managing the clock, and she's going to be aggressive. In order to, this panel's really fantastic, and for them to come out and spend time with us, we want to be respectful of their time. So we're going to cut you off if you go over, okay? So don't dilly-dally. With that being said, let's kick into this. So, first up, we've got Lettershine.
Talk to you about my cousin Max. She's 5 years old. She does karate. She's on the boys hockey team. She does gymnastics. It's awesome. I love watching it. What about a couple years from now when she goes onto social media and she sees this? I don't want Max looking at this and thinking this is what I need to aspire to. We spoke to 35 girls around Austin yesterday. They talked about social media. They said it's fun. They're connecting with their friends. They also said it's a love-hate. It's dumb. It's overwhelming. It's a waste of time. But these girls also said that they've grown up with social media, it's here to stay. So, our solution, we're creating an alternative social media platform that focuses on substance. So, we're going to have users and champions on the platform. Users are girls, teenagers talking about soccer, talking about science, talking about books, sharing the content. We're also going to have champions, local role models, athletes, musicians, people that they can look up to. So, the users are sharing the content, so are the champions. Now, they're also going to talk about the struggles, the concerns that they're facing. So the girls, the teens, they're worried about their acne. So we as the champions, we have the first female Jedi saying, listen, I have acne too, it's okay. So shared content, constructive solutions. So we also think, we know other people are out there trying to do the same thing. We think 2 things critical to the success of this is screening. We want to screen for safety. We want to keep the bad people out. We also want to make sure, once they're on the platform, how do we keep things positive? So we want to have both a star system, so users recognize positive behavior, they give each other stars. We also want those same users keeping each other honest. If they see negative, they see bad, they flag them, they're off. As the platform scales, we want to incorporate machine learning. It tracks this negative language, screens it out. So in terms of who's on it, it's the users, girls ages 13 to 17, start local in Austin. The champions, again, the role models, professional athletes. We also think important to this ecosystem are the parents. We want them to feel comfortable. We want them to feel comfortable their daughters are on the platform. So in terms of how we're going to make money, we think there's a big opportunity in terms of monetizing the content. So majority of it will be a free download for the users. There'll be free content through the fees. But then through our partners, the corporates, they're putting content on the platform. There's the option to pay for it. We get a cut of that. We also think there's an opportunity through event promotion. So in terms of our local communities, in terms of events that are going on through female empowerment, putting that together, showcasing on the platform. In terms of the market size, we took a look at what's the digital content market. We took a cut of that for what we think the US social media related, and then we applied it down to the population. So our beachhead market is Austin. We think about taking that cut, various cuts. We think there's an opportunity for around $3 million or so revenue in the next 18 to 24 months. So in terms of the competition, as we said, there's a lot of people out there trying to make something positive. We all want good things out there, but a lot of them, it's fragmented, and a lot of people trying it in different ways. One of them we wanted to highlight here is TBH. It's an anonymous positive polling app. came out this summer in 3 months of gained 2.5 million users. These are high schoolers who wanted something that was positively oriented. Now, it was also acquired by Facebook. I know there's someone from Facebook here. To me, when Facebook acquires someone, that means that they're worried about it. So, in terms of our go-to-market strategy, we want to go to Austin's and Richard School. We think the girls there at the school, what the teachers are teaching, is the prime audience for this type of social media platform, both in terms of the engagement. We want to follow the model from there, and we want to tackle both then the local champions and the local customers. So, I've been really lucky to have such an awesome team. They've been sharing the process, really good, diverse skill set. So,
we worked really hard, and I just want to let you guys know this is not only for girls. Guys, I have 4 younger sisters, and I want to encourage them to go on this platform and create a community with girls, can be other girls, or be with other girls, and do things that girls do, and not really think about, you know, should I do this, or do people have a bad opinions about me? It's just about girls being girls.
So, if you guys are interested in social media with substance, follow this bit.ly, check out our app, give us feedback, and also, really important, help us identify local Austin champions that we can connect with. Thank you very much.
How do you incentivize the adults, whatever you're calling them,
The champions?
The champions. How do you incentivize them?
We want to appeal to their core values. So we think there's a lot of people out there today, like someone like Demi Lovato, someone like a Zendaya, who already are practicing these models that we're preaching. We want to start appeal to their core values, and then in the future we think there'll be financial incentive. And then we think because they're out there preaching the same thing, they're going to have an interest. They want to showcase this message directly to the girls. They want to go beyond posting pictures. They can engage directly with them. They're giving something back that's more meaningful. We also think that will help with the user adoption. Girls will go on the platform, they see they're on there, and like, oh, this is cool.
So it's great how you guys have a really specific beachhead that you're going after. So TBH actually launched at one high school, and one high school only.
Yeah.
How small are you guys, like, what are you guys thinking in terms of specific go-to-market strategy? Like, how small are you looking to go? Are you looking to launch like in the whole city? Have you thought about like specifically what you're going to do there?
Yeah, we called it out in the slides, but we're going to go to Ann Richard School. They're a private school here in Austin about local girls, empowering girls to be empowered to go to college and do STEM. So there's a lot of things that they line up with our strategy. So we've actually been advised to go to them and present an idea to them, and maybe we can start that school. And then we'll start with the south location of Austin, and then move into the full Austin metro area.
Great.
Yep.
You know, there's all kinds of hard problems in launching a social network. It's a network, and you have to get critical mass, and you talked a little bit about what you're thinking about for making money and things like that, which particularly in Austin you have to think about earlier maybe than other places. What of all those problems, like, what do you think is the first one that's most important you really have to solve?
For starting a social media.
Well, with this, for, you know, like, of all the kind of things you said, you want to go kind of launch it at the Richard School. What is it that you're looking to learn from there? What do you have to show to make it get to the next level?
One, the partnership with the Ann Richard School would bring about the leadership people that they have there, and they can give us a little advice on what we should tweak and change about this. And also, we hope to have a beta program that may last from a couple months to a year, that we can get a lot of content on this platform before we even launch, and to get the feedback from the people that are using it, so we just know exactly what to go to market to. Because right now we have a 3-day startup. We hope to have a year of research done.
What do you think you're measuring when the Ann Richard School is using it? What are you looking at to see if it's working?
Specifically, we're trying to find the positivity, and if they can keep up that positive message that we're trying to do, because that's probably the biggest hurdle with trying to get social media in general and keep it in a positive light, like Twitter is not able.
I think the user engagement is the most critical part. So both the users on there with what they're talking about, but also having that content that's meaningful to them, that's interesting.
So how are you measuring that specifically?
So I think we're going to have, as you said, we're going to have a star system. So we're going to track in terms of what's being talked about, but we also want to have this notion of a star system. So when people are saying positive things about one another, they'll add stars to it. So it adds this little incentivizing aspect to it. So I think we'll apply in terms of metrics in terms of number of users, but we'll try and track, not exactly how, but the user engagement levels.
There's technology that we're looking at, like Google Analytics or Amazon Pinpoint on the back end, that can capture some of those metrics that we get from an app, like likes or stars, or interactions that happen within the app.
Do you guys have any idea about capital requirements to get this off the ground?
India, capital requirements.
Oh, yeah, so for a project that's about 4 times its size, there's certain Indian development companies looked at for about $25,000. So we're estimating that mobile development for this would cost about $10,000 if we offshore it. And then of course there'd be other iterations of improving the actual platform once we deploy to places like the Cambridge School.
I think then there will also be natural like advertising, marketing costs, just to increase user adoption and eyeballs like seeing this. And then I think that there will be additional costs related to trying to get some financial incentives to get other champions on the platform.
And just to add to that, I mean, beginning revenue is going to be a big issue for us, so we're going to try to get those early partnerships here locally in Austin and work over time to improve those before we go live.
What moderation plans do you have to control unwanted content?
Yeah, so I think we'll have the screening to make sure it is truly just girls on the platform first, and then we're going to be monitoring in terms of what the champions are posting, the types of content they're posting, and then we will have at the beginning it's going to have to be manually reviewing the content that what people are talking about. And as we said, we're going to have flags. The users are going to be empowered to flag. They're going to be held accountable. When they see other users bullying each other, talking negatively, it's flagged, it's blocked, it's off.
In the long term, some of the other technologies we're looking at is like machine learning to find tone of some of the conversations and track tone as the app starts to scale out in the long term.
How do you find out if it's a female? I mean, how are you gonna decide it's a woman or not?
I think first we're gonna first we want to have like there's Instagram single sign-up, so we think we'll do that. I think as we expand the platform,
You have to select your gender on Instagram. Never mind the business. So I'm not a gender.
yeah, so I think one of the things that we've talked about and played with is maybe like a facial photo image when they sign up, like so we track to see if it's a girl. So I think something that we're playing with, and there are a lot of types of verification technologies out there. We're very much keen on this, so we're gonna
I would think
explore.
your school would be your gate, like that. Like if you have a school that's had somebody else doing your gate for you, is better than you trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, actually one of the things that we're gonna have, is a geotag in terms of when they sign up, they're gonna say what school they're a part of as well.
Great, that's all the time we have, thank you.
Next up, we've got Real Talk.
Alright, whenever you're ready.
Alright. Hey everyone, I'm Bobin.
I am one.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Paul.
Tori.
Carlos?
And we're Real Talk, and we'd love to introduce you to what we've been building this week. So, we see strangers pretty much everywhere we go, in airplanes, in buses, at sporting events, and one of the real shames of life is that we don't really talk to strangers. And when we do, we don't really interact with them, we just have superficial conversations like, how's the weather today, or the plane got delayed, or hey, did you hear about the Astros? But the real shame is that we don't have meaningful conversations about the things that matter. For example, say you're an amateur tennis player, and you're sitting in an airport waiting lounge, and you never realize that the person across from you is a USTA coach. Or maybe you were an undergrad econ major, and you never realized that the person across from you on the Cab Metro was an assistant professor at Wharton. There's nowhere that this is more obvious than at networking events. So when you go to a networking event or a conference, you have a clear goal, to get a job, or to find someone to talk to. But for me, especially as an introvert, that's really hard. You walk into a room full of busy people and you don't even know where to start, because everyone's roaming about and you don't know who to approach or what to say to them. The core problem here is that meaningfully connecting with nearby strangers is important, but it's also scary. Real Talk aims to solve this. So we went out and we interviewed 34 strangers, and we found that people are interested in hearing about other strangers' stories, but this is really, really hard. 94% of people find some difficulty in approaching others and starting conversations. For example, right now, 2 blocks down, the Texas Book Fair is being held right now, and we talked to 2 librarians from Fort Lauderdale who are here for professional development. Both of those people described themselves as extroverts, but they said it was really, really hard and tiring to go about asking every single person who they were, what they were here for, and what they wanted out of the book fair. Real Talk is a mobile web app that aims to help solve this problem. Real Talk is going to allow you to list 5 to 10 interests, hobbies, or things about yourself like your hometown or your school, and that'll connect you to nearby people who also have the same interests, so you can find common conversational ground with strangers. Basically, when you attend a conference or any public event, you simply open a URL or the app, you download the app, you list your interests or link your Facebook profile, and then you get started talking to people nearby. On the right is an example of what this might look like. So for example, let's say you arrive at a conference and you have absolutely no idea who to talk to and you don't know where to get started. You You could download this app, or you could just go to the URL that the conference might advertise. You could link your Facebook profile or type in 1 or 2 things that you want to talk about, and you could immediately see an anonymized list of people around you, and maybe you see this profile, which says, it's really small, but it says NASCAR fan, and you're a really, really, really avid NASCAR fan. And suddenly you click on that, and now you have someone to talk to. So this is an example of a landing page, and if you want to check this out, we actually do have a landing page up at cet876.github.io. You can go check it out. So our revenue model is going to be adding value by facilitating interactions between conference attendees. And it's going to be a business-to-business revenue model, and currently there are conference app solution companies like Attendify or WebMovie that provide apps to conferences in exchange for adding value, and our model is going to be very similar. These companies charge typically from $600 to $2,500 per conference, and so RealTalk aims to collect about $400 to $500 per event that we eventually end up setting up. So, as you can see, our market size is pretty large. Every single year, $9 billion are spent on networking events in the United States. Our beachhead market is going to be networking events in Austin, and it's much smaller at $1 million, but there's still 2,000 networking events every single year that we can aim to get into. So, obviously there are competitors, because this is a pretty good idea. And those include BumbleBiz, Reel, Matuk, and Spacer. Basically a bunch of apps that no one has heard of because they're all failed. And the reason that they've failed is because these apps have tried to do too much. They've tried to be a way for strangers to connect in airport waiting lounges or buses right off the bat, but that's not efficient because you open the app in an airport waiting lounge, no one is using it, and then you immediately delete it. The way that we're going to be different is by working in small, insulated conferences. We encourage every single attendee to download this app and make it actually valuable to have the app on your phone. You can also see that we plan to connect people in real time. So the way that most of these apps work is proximity. They work based on people who are kind of close to you, but not exactly within eyesight. They say maybe there's someone to connect to, but now you have to actually go out of your way, walk like half a mile, and find them. We aim to connect you to people who are within 30 to 40 feet of you. It's also anonymous until you find someone who's interested in talking to you. So our go-to-market strategy basically takes 2 phases. The first is doing MVP testing at UT Austin, because when freshmen walk into campus, they're lonely and they're lost, and they don't have anyone to talk to in these 200+ classes. And so we aim for free to help them find friends. Our second immediate target is industry-focused meetup groups in Austin and professional conferences, and our eventual vision is that you can download RealTalk pretty much anywhere, in a bus, in an airport waiting lounge, or in a coffee shop, and find someone interesting to talk to. So this is our team, and would love to hear from any questions that you guys have.
Connecting with people like 30 to 40 feet from you at like a conference or an airport waiting lounge, does that mean you're just going to get like, you could potentially have a ton of people just walk past you that all look like they are within 30 to 40 feet of you? How are you going to handle that?
It's very true. So I think in a conference, we'd probably expand it to more than 30 or 40 feet. It would be people who are within the same room as you. And there would be certain assumptions you make, like people who are at the conference would probably stick around. At an airport waiting lounge, it would probably be a little more complicated, but you want to make sure that the signal has been present for a couple of minutes before you make a match. But that's very good.
You guys talk about 3 different beachheads, I think. Conferences, which are pretty different than networking events, which are pretty different than being a freshman at orientation.
Right.
So who is your customer?
I think that our main customer, especially for the first couple of months, is going to be conferences, but I think there's still value in finding market validation at universities and with freshmen. Especially because if we demo the product with freshmen, we can definitely work out a lot of the kinks in user experience and be able to input your interests or find people or swipe on other profiles. But our eventual value add is going to be in conferences and for people who need basically to create professional relationships.
Yeah, just building on that, your whole beginning story was all about travelers and all these things that weren't conferences. And then you're like, so we're going to start with conferences. That's where we're going to make our money, right? It'd be probably better as you're explaining it if you talked about conferences and use that as the example that you're kind of leading into.
Okay.
And similarly, I think at the one hand, I don't know that if it doesn't take a lot of effort, that it's a total waste of time or anything to launch with the freshmen. But it's not really teaching you about your customers, and you're going to learn something about the way that people generically interact, but not the way that people at conferences interact. And if that's who you think you're going to sell to, I'd probably spend more of my time focusing on that. And then one other thing is, you just think about a business model. Most conferences that I've been involved in don't have a huge extra budget. They often, they're not, and a lot of people are trying to sell them things. it's usually really easier to sell people things if you help them make more money.
Right.
And so, you know, think about this maybe, and if you think more about the business model in a way of like, how could you maybe, instead of telling them that you're going to charge them $500, maybe either it's free, but then you're selling something else about the network, or you're going to sell, you create these sponsorships they can sell within your app that then help them pay for your thing or make more money, but really positioning it to them more as like, hey, here's a way you're going to make more money, not here's a thing that's going to cost you money.
I think that's a very good point. So most of the feedback that we got from mentors was that if we go down this route, we have to really prove ROI to conferences. And I think that another thing that we've been kind of exploring, but we might or might not go down the route, is that the conference app solutions like Identify and WebMobi also have APIs, also have a need for connecting people. And so we could sell directly to those app solutions instead of to the conferences. But there are a lot of interesting ideas there.
In your list of features, I saw one on there was an escape plan.
Right.
I don't remember you guys talking about that more than on that slide. I may have missed it, but is that, what was that?
You're absolutely right. I completely glazed over it. So one of the ideas that we had was that we want to help people who are introverts make conversation. And so one of the problems is that say you use the app to get into a conversation, you realize that you really don't like the conversation. And so you want to get out of the conversation. Yeah. So basically, one of the features that we had was that when you create a conversation, you can set a timer, and like in 4 minutes, it would give you a call and you can be like, hey, got one.
You should just sell that to everybody.
Next presentation, I really appreciated the road mapping on the bottom of the slide. It was awesome. And I'm going to not contradict some of the other panelists, but I actually like going after a few segments and experimenting to begin with, because I think you'll learn a lot in doing that, and the functionality will be so similar that I think that's a fantastic idea. Rather than placing one big bet, which you'll probably end up losing, there's going to be a pivot here along the way, and you may find that the school opportunity is a lot better than conferences. So I actually like that approach of trying 2 or 3 opportunity areas.
Yeah, so awesome. We know each other. BioBash is coming up. There's 300 or 400 attendees that come to that. It's coming up in November. What did you learn from a conference like that if you were to be able to launch into that? I assume that you probably already have this code unique best, right? So what would something like that teach you?
So we actually have, we do have this code, but we've never used it at a conference. And so I think that one of the really cool things about launching at BioBash, for example, or any place where people don't know each other but have this one interest. So at BioBash, I assume that most people are interested in biology, but then that's one way to break a conversation, for example. But if you use this app, you can also talk to people like hiking or NASCAR, or maybe the fact that you're both from Switzerland. And so there are a lot of ways to break conversation.
That's awesome.
And also maybe
Thank you.
Stop, guys.
Hi everybody, I'm Blake and we are Stock Up. So this is John Johnson. He's the bar manager for Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill on 4th Street. We went and talked to him yesterday about their bar and what their goal is. And their value proposition to their customer is that they provide a very unique experience with niche alcohols, craft spirits, fine wines, and craft beers. So John Johnson's job is making sure that they have that alcohol ready when they need it to provide that consistent customer experience. So how does that process work for him? Well, this is the current bar and restaurant ordering process for alcohol. And so you can see there's a lot of different distribution channels that he has to work through, and there's a lot of different methods in terms of communication channels for him to make that process work. So that's the way it's been for quite a while. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that it creates an inconsistent ordering experience for John. And across those different platforms and different distributors, when he has an inconsistent ordering experience, he has consequences that result in insufficient inventory management because he doesn't always get the products he wants at the times he wants them. It creates reduced customer loyalty when he doesn't get those specific alcohols that they rely on as their value proposition. And it creates a lower labor productivity for that restaurant because his time could be better spent focusing on their core business of serving his customers. So the results of that, from the bar owner's perspective, is that he has an increased holding cost of alcohol, he has reduced sales over time, and he's paying his employees for idle and unproductive time. So where we fit in right in the middle of that. We're going to position ourselves with an online order as a SaaS provider ordering alcohol services to bars and restaurants. So all that John has to do is send his orders through our platform, and we fulfill the rest of the process for him. So what does that look like for John? Well, he does his discovery and purchasing through discovering our products on our platform, selecting and checking out, paying in one place instead of amongst all his different distributors. And then he gets the support and transparency throughout that process as he receives a consolidated invoice and delivery schedule throughout the process. And then on the back side of that, in the post-purchase process, he gets data analytics on his ordering process and marketplace trends. And so for the bar owner, that results in increased sales, saved labor costs, his employees being able to focus on their core business, as well as saving on inventory management and costs there due to increased efficiency. And so what is our revenue model? We are going to have a transaction fee from the bar and restaurant on a per order basis. In our market, the overall alcohol sales market to bars and restaurants in the United States is a $73 billion a year market. Austin alone is $688 million. And the niche alcohol market is $62 million. Why do I say niche alcohol? That's our beachhead that we're going after, is those specific bars and restaurants that have that high demand for that product that is hard to find. And why Austin? Well, Austin's got the highest bar per capita in the United States, and our customers continually are looking for new and exciting products. So our competitive landscape, the major company that's out there doing this right now is called 750. What they provide is an online catalog for bars and restaurants to see distribution options in their local area. That does not result in ordering. You cannot order through their process or through their platform. You can only contact those distributors, and so they do not provide that one-source solution that we're offering. And so our go-to-market, we'll start with our minimum viable product, which is just a catalog of available craft beers, craft spirits, fine wines that we can provide to that bar and restaurant, as well as the manual ordering and expert logistical consulting. Our go-to-market strategy is door-to-door sales to those particular bars and restaurants, trying to provide that value add in the niche space in Austin. And we'll be providing a software solution for that ordering process. So this is our team. We chose this project because we're determined to keep Austin weird. And if you want to do that, then you need to focus on increasing the bottom line of your local small businesses. And the biggest ones are bars and restaurants. Thank you.
Does anybody on the team have beer and wine and alcohol experience in Texas?
We do not specifically.
Hanging out bars.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I know that we have a legislated system in Texas, 3-tier distribution. I'm just wondering how much difficulty that would cause and whether you might have considered launching in other markets.
Yep, my main research thus far has been in Texas specifically because it's different state to state. But when I initially thought of this idea, it was because I have a buddy who owns a bar and was complaining about this process. So I kind of researched, came up with the concept, and I actually sent it to TABC, and they signed off on this process and the legality of it. So it is legal.
Oh, good.
And then throughout this weekend, we reviewed some of the laws. It's impossible for us to read all of those laws, the textbooks and textbooks of Texas alcohol law in 2 days, but we have like a fundamental understanding throughout this process.
Good.
So the process that they've approved, I assume is the diagram, sort of the diagram you showed us, which you cut out text messaging and all that, right? Like the process you're gonna do the manual process on their behalf initially, and then try to force those vendors to take orders from your system. How are you gonna sort of scale it after you have to do their process, like all those different vendors' processes?
Right. So the initial one would just be manual ordering, and then as you go with a software solution, you give everybody the same stop page or front page, and then you have to link into the different distributors' ordering systems. The technicalities of that in terms of legality is just that you cannot provide that ordering solution for free to bars and restaurants and charge distributors. And what that does is the entire market or the entire law system in the state of Texas is built around protecting those retailers from distributors, and that would go into offering free services to try to entice them to purchase products. So our plan to scale requires a lot of back-end integration into distribution network softwares state by state.
Like the texting one, is that just a guy who takes the text and puts it in his POS? And like,
Correct.
So you mentioned you providing analytics. What kind of analytics are those, and like are those things that the bartenders or like bar managers you talk to? Like, what are those, and are they actually going to be used, or is analytics just something that you're adding on there as like a sales tactic? It's something that we can provide that you might not get otherwise.
So one of the things that we found yesterday is that every bar manager that we talked to had a way of predicting how they were going to order, and it was on the more sophisticated end, an Excel file that tracked year's orders, and they would look through it and be like, oh, this is kind of what we ordered last year. And on the very low end, it would be, well, I'm pretty sure around Monday we ordered this much normally. And so we would take all that data over time, and we would provide kind of just the processing of it and the graphical solutions, as well as being able to anticipate market trends by pooling it together.
And to drill that down to the specific beachhead market to start, you take that in Moonshine, and they want to understand what's selling across the country, and the small little distributors that are, the small little producers that are starting to gain traction, and they want to be that first bar and restaurant that really captures that new product. So by us maintaining information on sales throughout the region and throughout a state, ultimately across the country and world,
the bars are going to have to opt into sharing their purchasing data if you're going to provide that out.
Correct. So we would receive that purchasing data though if they're placing their orders through our platform.
Like, did you talk to bars about whether or not they're comfortable sharing that?
Well, would it be the bars if the bars purchasing from the website?
but it's the
Regardless,
bar's data.
like,
He's
They
the
were
bar owns
very
the data.
uncomfortable with the idea that somebody could specifically look up their bar and seeing what they ordered specifically, but if they were pooled into an aggregated database, then they didn't have any specific objections.
Bar receipts are all public knowledge as well too, so they're did you talk to distributors or just bars?
We did not talk to distributors.
All my questions are about distributors. It's like, if distributors hate you, this is hard, and I kind of think they're going to hate you. And then you have to find ways to integrate with their systems and things like that. And so I just think that'd be really interesting to talk to them. And one of your things, your slides say partnerships with 9 distributors. I think that's the next place I would really go explore is how do they see this and how cooperatively.
I doubt they're going to change their process for you. That's what I was getting to. Like,
So how
keep
beginning.
texting somebody. Yeah.
And
Thank
some
you,
of
that's
those,
all the time we have.
some of those crafts sell directly to
Casa.
Hi, my name is Marquise, and we are Casa. So, 1 year ago, I was a broke college student living on campus. I'm still broke for the record. But I was a student living on campus, and I knew I had to move off campus because I couldn't afford staying on there for that long. So what I did was I went to Google and I just searched online to look up apartments.com or anything like that. And the listings that kept coming up were apartments that were way out of my price range. So what I did was I just started to walk to Guad, and I actually found a realtor service down on Guad. I asked them if they could find me a more affordable service. They showed me a list of complexes that were way out of my price range, and after a while, after a few days, they told me they couldn't help me. So we went ahead and talked to a couple of college students in Guad, on Guad, Jester, and in the SAC, and they were all saying that this is an issue. This is a serious issue. 80% said that the apartment finding process right now is broken, and there needs to be a solution. 60% of students are actively searching right now. So, transparency is becoming less apparent. There's a lack of trust between the customer and the landlords, realtors, and there are actually a lack of reviews online in terms of finding good apartments and finding out like if the management is actually doing their job and doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, this is the solution. We are Casa, a web platform for students that are able to find affordable housing in convenient areas. So basically, we're leveling out the platform and making it more centralized for the companies that have the complexes that have less visibility, and we're able to put them on the platform and give it equal footing with the bigger like Castilian and the like the Real West of the world. So, and we're also actually going to go ahead and do like user-based reviews for students that were already there to actually give more transparent reviews instead of having the management going in there and doing their own reviews themselves. So, market size. So, nationwide, we currently have about 21 million college students. We're planning to go global, but we're going to go ahead and start locally right now. So there's actually about 51,000 UT students, and 82% of those students currently live off campus. So our beachhead market is actually for the working class and middle class students who are actually looking for apartments near campus but are always getting pushed out to Riverside. So we're actually going to go ahead and partner with these hole-in-the-wall kind of complexes who are looking for, to get more visibility and fill some of their vacant slots. So now we're going to go ahead and kind of just have like this is like a baby mock-up of beforehand, a lot of students were having issues of they would actually go to these complexes and try to sign a lease and be denied immediately, and they've already paid a registration fee, so they lose their money. So we're going to go ahead and work with some third-party companies that are able to like basically give a scale as to whether you'd be approved before you can go on with that complex or not. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and actually get all the price ranges, we're going to go ahead and tailor and customize this user experience for the student. From there, we're actually going to go ahead and show the students exactly where they're able to go to, and it'll just show that like their like with their proximity or their price range, whether it's furnished, their preferences, we tailor it to them. We're actually going to implement a sublease feature that will allow students to get rid of their apartments if they're not here during the summer months. And we're actually going to go ahead and implement a roommate match feature that will allow students to find roommates when they're going out to these apartment complexes. To top that off, we kind of wanted to get rid of the whole realtor experience and how unfortunate that is sometimes. So we actually want to come up with Riley the robot, and she's actually able to come up with some FAQs and simple questions, simple answer-based things that maybe the realtor, we're just kind of like cutting out the process between the realtor and the student. So with the artificial intelligence analytics, basically we're going to aggregate all the data that we have from the user profile. We're going to go ahead and match this up with other students who are looking for the same apartment complexes, or basically match up whatever you said in when we're matching to the apartment complexes. And basically, based off of this, we're going to go ahead and give you an accurate list of apartment complexes that you can currently afford. So our revenue model, we are now the middleman. So the traditional way today is actually students will go from campus to the realtor, to the landlord, and then you'll be able to make that transaction. Well, now we're going to centralize this and put it on one platform. So we're working with the landlords directly to acquire units. The students will come onto our platform, purchase, and then they're able to sign a lease, and then we'll take a small portion of that check. So now our go-to market strategy. First and foremost, we're going to start on the ground. We're going to go ahead and go with the student approach, referrals going by word of mouth and tabling on campus. This now we're going to have to go ahead and go to the landlords and actually make our pitch to them. We're going to go with campus housing and actually get the university officials to actually.
Thank you so much. That's all the time we have.
So the big problem that you're attacking is that it kind of sucks to find a place to live, and I don't think anyone who's been through that recently would disagree with that. But there's also a lot that you guys have going on here. For the first quarter of the presentation, I kind of thought you were just going to be like a new Craigslist, and then all of a sudden it shifted to almost like credit karma for whether or not you're going to get approved. And then there was something about AI. What are you trying to attack first here? Yeah, if you were going to say in 2 weeks you had to have something that was going out, what would in 2 weeks be that thing you were going to try to go out there and saying we are solving this problem 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks from now, I would have to say it would probably be just the fact that there's no level of visibility for some of the smaller market complexes. So basically, we just bring that to the forefront and let students see as many of those complexes as possible.
So you'd be a marketplace that only had less expensive stuff on it.
We would have them all, but we would just kind of put them all on the same platform. We wouldn't push one to the top or.
So I guess to utilize like the small like management companies that do have less like marketing capital to like push out their listings, to get them be on an equal footing in terms of listings with those that do have.
Part I don't get though is like there's lots of apartment listings sites,
Right.
and they all have a price filter.
Right.
So like all I can do is go in and say under this price, and now I only see that view.
I agree.
Right. So and then if that's the first thing I'm going to do if I'm a college student, right? Is I'm going to go change the price to say don't show me those.
So
then what?
The differentiating factor is that for using, we have a profile built where the profile takes into consideration like not just the preferences of the student, but also their personality. And so what fits the aspect of how they fit in with your environment. And so a good example is RISE's residential college system, which takes into account a survey of the person's personality, and then they integrate that into matching the student to where they best fit on campus in terms of dorming and finding movement. And so that profile aspect is what differentiates us from our competitors.
Do you think that there's going to be a more influential factor than how much am I willing to pay? Because like what I would anticipate is that you would try to do all of this, but price is so important in this, is that the survey is effectively just going to filter by price, regardless of how hard you try to filter by other things.
There's a caveat circumstance where Marquise himself had an experience where he went through West Campus and found hole-in-the-wall areas towards the back of West Campus. Well, West Campus itself, the environment is very like rowdy and rambunctious during the nightlife, and so North Campus has a large number of hole-in-the-wall areas, but North Campus consistently has been quieter and more introverted friendly, and so that aspect of diverging where you have a personal fit to where you would live, even though the price point does have equivalency in both areas, caters to the student.
My hypothesis is that the less expensive apartment buildings don't pay to market their units because they have less margin to play with, right? The really expensive ones on West Campus can make beautiful websites and get listed on apartments.com, but like the tiny apartments that I always rented would never be marketed anywhere but Craigslist because they aren't going to bother. They don't have the time and energy to do that. So I think to find a cheap apartment, you drive down the street and look for a rent sign. So I guess, like, why do you think that a landlord who manages 10 units or 20 units is going to bother to get on your platform? How are you going to incentivize them? Because the realtors don't sell those places either because they don't give them a cut, right? Like, there's not a lot of money floating around extra to get them rented.
So we actually spoke to a real estate agent about that issue, and it was actually the real estate agent that helped me find my apartment in North Campus. And he was saying that the biggest issue for him is that the management company has been having consistent issues with organizing the listings for a certain area. And even though they've been having a relatively consistent consumer base for like occupying those areas, the issue is that they just don't have they just choose not to invest, particularly because it's not a luxury.
Or because they don't have to, because they get rented anyway, is what it sounds like.
They do get rented. They get rented, but the statistics have been like it's usually he's according to his own opinion that 60% for every 4 apartments on West Campus that rented out, only 2 in North Campus get rented. So the statistics are just like divided in terms of how they approach their unit.
Thanks so much.
Hi, we are Venue. It's been you. Venues made easy. So reservations are difficult, right? The freelance market is on the rise in Austin. I myself do some freelance work. I'm in a band, and when we need a place to rehearse and maybe hold auditions, it's difficult, right? We have to store our instruments, host a good amount of people, and conduct these auditions. We need space. We have to do this, we have to call multiple people, scour the web, and there's no price transparency. We have to call and get a quote and whatnot. When I do this, often I recognize that there's a two-sided problem. So first, there's unutilized space in Austin. There are these restaurants, establishments that have space that's otherwise unused, say between 3 and 6 p.m., that could be utilized to make a little extra revenue. From the consumer standpoint, there's a difficulty with searching and booking. All the things that Rafa mentioned, it's hard to book a place right now. What's the solution? We want to provide a user-friendly platform to connect this unutilized space with the people who need it. That's Venue. And so what's our revenue model? How are we going to make money? Reservations with Venue. First, let's say George wants to book a place. He's looking, and Austin's Pizza, has their second floor to rent out between 3 and 6 p.m. Nobody's there, they can conduct business anyway, and they can put up their listing to make some extra revenue while George conducts his yodeling club meeting. He books the place, we take a 10% commission, a similar fashion as Airbnb, and then we make money from that. We estimate from who we contacted over this weekend that there are roughly 1,000 establishments in Austin who'd be willing to do this. Let's say that's about a $10 million revenue worth. In that, we take 10% commission, that's about $1 million, let's say in our first year. Here's our entire market size. This is the market size for all event planning coordinating in the United States, and in Austin, that's huge. We want to take a portion of that market, 10%, roughly $7 million. Who are our competitors? So some of these, if you've seen them, if you recognize them before, they do things that we were trying to hope to fix and make easier for users, or consumers, excuse me. These three are our top competitors. With these three, first, some are only centralized to certain types of space. So only a workspace, maybe. Only big events, only very small events. They don't have it all. A couple other things, only one of these is also available in Austin right now. We hope to start in Austin and grow larger. What's our go-to-market strategy? First, we want to do manual matching. Without any platform at all, we want to make some sort of revenue to show that this works, right? This may be through booking nonprofits, maybe going through meetup.com, where people otherwise don't have a venue to meet with their social group and whatnot, and kind of match them manually with places that need this space to be utilized, right? So then after that, we launch the platform, we grab a bunch of consumers and users to be on this platform, match them, then we expand. Prototype, we hope to have mobile and also web-based services for all these people, which a lot of our competitors don't have. Some may have just web, no mobile. We want to make it easy to book from anywhere that you are at any time. Here's our team. Lucky to have them. We consist of a couple engineers, scientists, and business people. And that's all we've got.
So as you said, you think there are 1,000 potential venues in Austin that would sell their space.
Right.
If you could try to imagine that within those 1,000 there'll be, if you group them by pizza places, yoga studios, co-working spaces, things like that, what would be the median? What would be the one that would be the most of?
Sure. We would suspect that it'd be restaurants and bars. And those two establishments that have prime times, dinner, lunch, right, or a bar that's maybe open only in the evening, they have those times that are not used, and those would be the first, especially ones, we want to try to hit the ones that might not be doing so well and need to make extra revenue to cover their overhead. Sell that, so essentially rent out, sell that space to people to help them out. Very incentivizing.
Are you guys going to take care of cleanup?
No. So it's very an Airbnb style of manner where we just provide the space and the platform to connect these people.
Because that could be a challenge for like bars and restaurants where, yes, there's a bunch of empty space, but if they open at 5, they can't have something end at like 3:30 and have to do a complete clean. Because a lot of times like overnight and in the morning, it's actually too late.
Right. And yeah, so we suspect like with those, maybe shorter events, we think that we can expand to churches, right, which wouldn't necessarily have that problem. Office spaces and whatnot.
Have you identify any sort of risk that you would have to assume, or what sort of risk would you insure?
Yeah. So big risks are legal aspects like zoning laws within Austin, also land law or the building codes themselves. Different buildings have different codes and whatnot. Kind of jumping over those, which buildings allow alcohol, which allow noise, which allow X amount of people. Those are some issues, and we are hoping that the users of the platform will be able to take care of that by posting, here are my restrictions that the law says. Does that kind of answer?
Yeah, just what you're taking into consideration.
So what do you guys, if you're taking 10%, what do you think of your average order value will be per event? And did you do some math around?
Right, so we kind of figured the market might decide like how expensive. So a really popular bar on 6 might have a little different cost than a not so popular one at a different location. So just whoever's trying to host and rent out their space can decide that, and competition will kind of even out the price.
I would just make some assumptions if you're sort of modeling it out, if you're moving forward to like, on average, we're gonna do 100 bookings a month that are gonna be $50 revenue, $50 this is your 10%, some sort of math to get to that. I think there were some numbers mentioned, but get tighter on what those are, what you assume, even though they're gonna be wrong, just assume. Yeah.
So the same question I asked before, but flipped the other way. Of all the people that are gonna rent out spaces, what do you think are gonna be the most common kinds of people that would rent a bar in the middle of the afternoon?
Right, so that would be, first we want to start with organizations, because that's what we think would be these people.
What kind of organization?
A nonprofit who doesn't have an establishment, or a group from Meetup who, again, doesn't have an establishment.
Do they meet in the afternoon?
And maybe they don't, right? Maybe it's a night thing. Maybe it's an evening thing. And in that case, it wouldn't be renting out a restaurant. It'd be renting out a bookstore, maybe, right? Something that doesn't have that same time.
Right, so these two things are really important and linked.
Right, to match
So
them, right?
like, what do you think is going to be the most important thing? Or like bars and restaurants? Well, you got to know what the other inputs. So like, that's the two places I really focus on trying to like learn about is from talking to potential customers and other people is like who's going to use this a lot and when are they going to use it? And you have to have both those things match up. You can't have someone that wants to use it a lot but they only want to use it at night, and people that want to sell it but only want to sell it during the day. And like, you know, like you're gonna have to find the magic match there.
Yeah, since you're looking on Meetup, you can identify the groups that are on Meetup that don't have facilities. And I mean, it seems like that's something, a question that you can answer.
And you might also have like a when the venue's open and not open rate, right? Like they might want to list their venue for a full book out, like, you know what I'm saying? Like during operations hours for some events. There's another Austin startup that's doing more of that, so like matching you to an event space to have a party or whatever.
Along the same lines, I think I asked this of someone else. Do you guys have an estimate of how much it's going to cost for you guys to get your prototype off the ground?
So the biggest cost would be development, right? We have 2 developers on the team, but the other cost would be server space when we get bigger. That's about $30 a month.
Biz dev, somebody's got to be selling this stuff.
No, just have to build it.
Somebody's gonna sell it.
Right, so there's the marketing side, and that's something that we haven't completely fleshed out yet. We don't know exactly how much that would be. I mean, I'm assuming we take a similar approach to Airbnb when they push that out, but we don't know exactly monetarily how much that is.
Team bonding is integral to the success of businesses. But how many times have you exited a company event not feeling more connected to your peers? We aim to fix that. We are Crash Cook-Off, the place to crash for your next bash. So, we have found that employees thrive when they have creative outlets. So we do that. We're Crash Cook-Off, an Iron Chef team bonding experience that enhances that enhances cooking challenges to the next level. What we do is we provide teams to challenge each other, compete each other in an atmosphere, in a setting where not only do they cook up a dish, but they're also faced with challenges such as mini games and trivia in order to earn ingredients. And actually, this morning, we executed this proof of concept. What we did was we asked organizers and mentors in order to try this out. We went to Jester West Dormitory. We had 2 teams of 3, and what they did was we had them answer trivia. We had them make marshmallow building competitions. We had them do the Macarena, and yeah, it was awesome. It was fun. We got amazing feedback. They loved it, and through it, we had so many testimonies. We found that coworkers, they found that they bonded with each other. Not only that, we also had people who didn't know other people, and they actually felt like they were on a team, and that's really important. And we found through feedback that people were willing, on average, to spend about $35. And this is just the people. This is not the corporation. If the people are willing to spend it, corporations are going to go on it also. So, since we've tested out this proof of concept and we found that it's just amazing, we're going to go into the beachhead market of the 45,000 small businesses in Austin. What we do is we're going to approach offices and businesses and partner with them in order to host these events at our own venues. And once we find a consistent model, we plan to open it out nationally. So, of course, we did our research before we did this. And we found that, escape rooms have just a similar vibe as this. 2014, there were no escape rooms. But, this industry has been expanding, and there's over 1,600 of these escape rooms across the nation. And not only so, we went out and talked to 50 people, and we gathered that for them, cooking is just a place that just enhances creativity, problem solving, and it just allows for bonding for people. You get to share food, you get to share connections, you get to share just an experience that is worth sharing. And yeah, this market size is amazing. It's huge. 9 million U.S. businesses. Okay, yeah. 9 million and these businesses, we're considering businesses from the size of 5 people to over 10,000 plus people, like your average customer. And yeah, we're planning to aim for these beachhead markets, small businesses in Austin. And yeah, sure, there's a competitive landscape. There's cooking challenges places, parties at Cozy Meal. We have entertainment sources like Texas Panic Room, Jump Street, Austin Bouldering Project. But you know what? That just proves the market. That just proves that people love this. And in fact, we do it better. Parties that cook $200, why would I spend $200 in order to cook with friends? Okay, maybe I would. But we make it cheaper. $40, $35, that's amazing. And we bring it a new flavor to the entertainment market. So, yeah. And guess what? What is it? Our team is the best to do it because we executed this morning. Our final idea, conceived last night, and within a 12-hour window, we went to HEB. We called up people. We even asked Alec here to join us, and we had lots of fun. And yeah, we want people to join the movement. Our next event, we don't know when it's going to be, but if you want to join on it, we have the link up. We have the link up for people if they want to join the event or people who want to host a venue for that. So we hope you join us. And yeah, Crash Cook-Off. Oh, what's up? We'll have it back up later. Wait, we'll give you 5 seconds. 5 seconds is not enough time. This is a chance of a lifetime. It's your first challenge. First challenge of the day. Anyways. Alright, is everyone done? So, once again, we're Crash Cook-Off, the place to crash for your next batch.
Is the headset part of the presentation?
The headset is just my signature item. It comes with knowing me.
Where did you go to get the 9 million businesses? number, you wildly underestimated the number of businesses.
Yeah, so
in
this
the
was
US.
like in 2013 or 2014 estimate. We should have said that.
Yeah.
But you know what? That makes it better.
So actually, it was a fun presentation, but I really think this is a really interesting idea. I mean, I don't know how big it scales, and I think scaling it to be big is probably hard, but I think in the same way that the panic rooms actually tend to start as small businesses, I think something like this could be super successful in Austin. I know my wife and 9-year-old daughter watch hours and hours of cooking shows.
Oh, you mean like these?
Yeah. They also really enjoy the experience type events, and so we've gone to painting ones and pottery ones and the lots of other things like that, and the escape room kind of thing. And so I could totally see both, not the corporate stuff, but I could see young girls, I could see women, I could see men doing it. I think I could see a lot of people doing it. Yeah, barbecue.
And we're hoping to really capture the market by like forming these like partnerships with these corporations. So that way, you know, we kind of have that like claim on the market before other people start popping up.
I'm curious whether it's the starting point is corporations or actually families too. I think you could do a lot of birthday parties and other types of events too.
I think the reason that we went specifically for corporations is that it was more of a guaranteed market than just the general public would be or families would be. Just
Guaranteed why?
Because team building has been proven to have a specific amount of budget for it, and we've talked to the mentors, and we've specifically seen, you know, several activities that have such a large budget, weekly, even monthly, for corporations, and so they have to spend this money, which makes it more guaranteed than families who just might be interested.
We've found that the average amount of money that a corporation spends on one employee per year on like a health and wellness sort of aspect is $693, and this factors into like the mental health and wellness and that feeling like you're working on a team and you're happy at your place of work.
And in a way, corporations are actually a starting point for us because we know they have money for this and they're spending on this and they care about this. So they could be our initial fuel for capital so we could get ourselves established. And then after that, we can target to everyone else because if we make this viable for businesses and they can give us funding for that, then we'll be able to scale it more and then apply it to even more people.
So as a former Dell employee, before I started my business on the side, I have been subjected to like putt-putt in the dark, so there's definitely a budget there, and this would be a fun way. I don't know that they can like fund your business. They're going to pay you for that one event, and that's not going to be enough capital. You mentioned your own venue. Is that?
Yeah. So currently, right now, what we're hoping to do is to first find people who are willing to volunteer at venues. We had a lady who mentored who said she'd offer up her space, but obviously we can also partner with restaurant owners and kitchen spaces, commercial kitchens, in order to host these events. And yeah, definitely once we have established enough capital, enough money in order to have our own event space, then we definitely want to open up to.
That could be a really fun way to both to have it at like a fancy restaurant or whatever restaurant would be exciting for the employee, and then also maybe a revenue source if they don't have a lunch hour, right? Before they would begin.
Do any of you have expertise around building a curriculum around the cooking aspect of it, or?
Well, okay. Kind of, just because I've watched about 1 million cooking shows. And on top of that, that's kind of like where we also feel like, this idea really has a proof of like gaining traction too, because Netflix has this new show where they actually put families together in like cooking situations. Yeah, the big family cooking showdown, which is what I'm like binging right now. But also like, me and my mom tried to start a restaurant recently. I mean, of course, starting a restaurant is hard, so it's not the whole thing right now. But in that, I know a little bit more about the legality of like working in these different places and like, how much it would cost to have our own venue and what sort of standards we have to meet and stuff like that.
And then just like on top of that, I think it's really important to realize that the team itself, I think we're pretty fun. So then in that way, like coming up with these games, actually spending hours thinking of how we can make this better for the user experience or the consumer experience, I think that fits us really well and that we'd be able to do that with them.
You bring up an interesting point around safety though, like if you're an employee at Dell and you cut your finger in the test kitchen, then like it's a workers' comp thing, so the family angle may be less litigious, right?
We definitely did talk about how, just like at Austin Bouldering Project, we decided we have to have some sort of, not police, but like some sort of agreement that like, any injuries that happen in the kitchen, which is a dangerous place, like, everyone can know their faults.
That's all the time we have
you.
Okay. We're officially done, but we need to acknowledge a few people. So, first off, big thank you to our panel, big thank you to y'all, participants, for being part of this. But as far as the engine of what makes all this happen, there's a lot of bodies involved in this. There's a lot of manpower and woman power that makes this happen. And so, if this was a buddy cop movie, we know who like the stick to the rules guy is, like the Riggs and Lethal Weapon, and we know who the guy who's a little out there and a little insane. But these two have done a wonderful job of actually getting this together. So if we can acknowledge John. And then there's this one, who on a fairly regular basis I get to hear about her CrossFit adventures when she's like trying to jump on something and skins her knee. That same kind of intensity and dedication what he brings to making this kind of hurricane of activity, this mess come together. So we can acknowledge Shayna. And then these two jokers. Is Michael here? Oh, there he is. Okay. So both of these two have been part of our family for a while, and it was Michael's actually first time driving the thing, and Justin's been with us a while, but they're two very key members of the 3DS community, and it's really an honor to have them be part of it. So big shout out to you. Okay, so before we're about to have this cake and champagne wheeled up, which are we still wheeling it through here? Or is that a bad idea? It's a good idea. Yeah, okay. So go ahead and start bringing that up. While they're doing that, just to let the room know what's going on, panelists, thank you so much. You guys are eligible for the next thing, which is as much champagne and cake as you'd like. After that, we're going to lovingly, gently kick you all out, and the rest of this will be the private portion of it. So participants, we're going to show you. This is just kind of a weird 3DS tradition you'll learn about. We're going to have a feedback session. So in the same way we forced you to go talk to customers, we're going to have kind of a private internal session where you tell us what we improve about this program and give us direction on next phases. After that, we're going to talk about how to get involved with us, and then we're going to clean up. So this is really just my organized, nice way of saying participants, you can't leave. That's all that really means. So thank you all very much. Let's have some cake and champagne.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody for being part of this.
That's what I'm going to say.
That was awesome. That was such a Toast! Speech! Toast! It's so hey, that was awesome. It's really been I literally left to go to the restaurant.
You know, it is so tiring, like seeing someone who's in technology being able to talk that well up there. Like, I'm asking Jackie about a communications coach because I'm like, I need, the same kind of like, I need to get to where you are. And I just thought you did awesome. That was great.
Definitely like
Thank you so much. Be willing to pay off. I'm a very myself out there.
oh yeah,
not a champagne.
Find how you talk to people.
That's why I brought that side.
What I find that's good, like, figure out how you start, figure out the rest. Hell no, we just
That's great, man. That's great. That's awesome.
I was like, and you're like, no, it's fine.
I saw you in the zone back there.
It's funny because I was so interested when I was in the Merlot, and you like Michael Phelps with the arms, and then you had Michael Phelps with the hands. You need to meet him.
How did you decide to work together as the same team?
We like the idea. We also kind of like working with each other. So
yeah, my brother's also an Austin, so it's kind of nice to be around together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we actually were roommates.
One of y'all said idea.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he said idea, but
so you're older? I saw it in your team slides.
Oh yeah,
how are you liking it?
I love it.
love it, man. I got a really good team. My team has they've been there for a while, so they brought me, brought my partners, just from my team, so I get more, talk more, show people. Right now we're just making the user interface.
They see something that's like it's like everyone uses that's right. Our game is looking at that. Like the environment. So I don't know if you're like, oh, you're still. Alright. I don't know anything about it now, but I changed majors 4 times. I changed universities, took a year off, a lot of stuff. Nice.
You had cake already? No, that's fine. Okay, Kate. Oh,
The last one I was at still there. Well, above north.
We don't mean by that was tough, but
Like I am an entrepreneur, like the story. So I would like a temporary
permanent. There's like 20 words for snow. There's 20 words for love. We're just Symbols strap things together. You're one.
The other one is, I think women's, I think we should I'm doing right. I am doing right. No, I'm serious. I am right? No. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're so good. I'm fine. I'd say I don't
We're going somewhere. Might be in the wrong direction, but I'm going.
So you're in Mr. Forward Motion, I'll put something in your head that you'll think about what we're talking about, but maybe it's I'm working on Iceland for business. People who need to submit notes for their jobs and what that looks like. Is it a sales force like a SaaS model where it's like you have 100 sales people and each one of 3 sales months, and that's like a quarterly. I'm doing a project for somebody who's like a data test. They're in touch with campaign for all the customers. Each quarter they want to customize expectations. So keep in mind who might fit their jobs. What's funny is that on the slide is also nail it. I don't know how they're doing. He's not like a static puncher. Which I think also makes sense. I said that. I mean, like, he's not, I don't think he's about relationships or about commitments. He's like an engineer more than an infrastructure. And I think he's some engineer that's kind of possible. But I think he's very trying to take part into it. We don't have to do it. Whatever we do.
Thank you so much. I was
Thank you for inviting me. It's
yours.
And there was one student the day before the restaurant in the I just got really lucky, and now, like, she was telling me, like, this was
I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm sorry. All the different things I'm saying, I'm sorry. Yes, you are. And then it goes to 5 to 5 to 7. 2.5 hours.
It's good. It's good. How you feeling? Well, if you have anything on your side, you know, it's versatility. Like, you know, you're speaking, like, it showed a lot of passion, you know, like, and that translated through, you know. Like, from the early stages, so, like, you keep, like, the passion up, like, you and Eric, like, you guys both were drinking today. I was like, wow, that was nice. Like, I thought you guys could, like, drive, you know? Like, so just keep, like, more ideas, and, like, this place is, like, the ultimate testing board, and it's still an environment that it's not, like, no one feels like having fun right now. And no one's like, like I said, like at the first idea, it's always the idea like catches on. Maybe you're trying to get it's like, if your idea got chosen, you know, like you're definitely step further above the beat. Your idea is great. Your idea I gotta learn to communicate. That's what I gotta learn about speaking.
Okay, we are moving to the next phase, 3 historical awards. Can someone make sure that the camera is not streaming over the internet right now? Because this is going to get... It's not? Okay, good. All right. Sometimes the game gets a little loose. Okay, can we all take seats and can the award presenters come up here and bring the bag?
Still live.
Plug it.
Yeah, I've got a shirt. Unplug it. Oh yeah, it's like 2 seconds left.
Doesn't look like that's possible. It's unplugged. Okay. Wait, is it off or is it still on? Oh my god. What the hell is it plugged into?
Well, it's like 2 seconds late. Oh no, it's on.
I see Cam walking up and hold on. Cam. You were like messing with your hair. Are we even getting the right? Yeah, hold on, but it's just like. There we go. Okay. Okay. They can still hear us.
Yeah.
They have microphones hooked up to it too.
All I really care, the visuals aren't going to be that weird. I'm more concerned about someone saying something terrible.
It's gonna be like this the whole time. Yeah, but you can hear us.
Alright. Let's just go and just don't say anything that's going to get.
Can we just end this?
Yeah, why don't we just unplug it?
Unplug it all the way over
It
there.
already is unplugged.
Are you serious?
Power source. It's got a mind of its own.
I can't reach that. Someone reach that?
Well, hey,
Let's just go. Let's just go.
No one's actually watching.
Alright. Do you guys know how to intro the awards?
Let's not have, Mo doing this.
Alright, so, hey everyone, Keyshawn again, lead organizer, in case you haven't met me yet.
You did a great job.
Blockchain all the way?
Blockchain. So yeah, thank you guys again for a great year. It was fantastic, we had a lot of fun. Good cake, stuff, great. I had just some thank yous I wanted to say. Thank you to the leads, Jessica, where's Matt? Matt's gone. There's Matt, Leo, and then Daniel couldn't make it, but they've been helping me run this, and I couldn't have done it without them. I also wanted to thank the organizers. They've been tremendously helpful, just in terms of like making sure everything runs and like making sure you guys have food and making sure everything's set up and helping clean up and tear down. So just big hand to all the organizers. So I'm gonna plug the organizing team right now and tell you to join because it's a lot of fun. I did 3DS a year ago, and I was in your shoes, and I learned a lot during that about stuff like customer validation and talking to customers, how to do pitches, stuff like that. But I'd say out of all the knowledge I've gotten out of 3DS, half of that was maybe being in your shoes, and half of it was being in mine. Because being as an organizer, you see a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and you get to talk with a lot of people. You get to talk with Kim, you get to talk with the panelists, facilitators, and they have a lot of advice for you too. You also learn a lot of soft skills, like how to present, how to talk in front of a crowd, how not to like freak out if you're scared of that. So, stuff like that. You build a lot of that, and also how to just work in a team, how to plan a large-scale event like this over 3 days. So it's a lot of super useful skills that aren't just going to apply when you have the next big event. It's something you carry on throughout your lifetime. So if you're interested in organizing, being part of our family, because we all really are a family. And thank you again, guys, for helping out so much. And it's just a lot of fun to be here. And I don't know if you guys had this, but the first day I came to 3DS, I was super excited and a little nervous and anticipation and stuff. And by December of that semester, I was starting to forget about it a little bit. But then the next 3DS rolls around, and you're an organizer, and you jump back into it. I'm already a little excited right now. So you get really excited about it. So it's a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend you guys try to organize. It's not too much time commitment. You can talk to me if you have any questions about it. Okay? So now we're going to go on to the awards. 3DS has a tradition where we give awards to the teams. So they're not too super serious and
very serious.
They're very serious. They're very serious awards. So I'm going to go to present them and just have a good time with them. Also, if you are the recipient of an award, you get a gold-plated Red Bull can. So the first team that I would like to give an award to is the team that made me feel like a professional chef, even though I don't cook and I go to taco joint every other day. But today I had a lot of fun and it was actually a good experience. So the Iron Chef Award goes to the Crash Cook-Off team.
I feel so bad if I open this right now and drink it.
Do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Paint is toxic.
It's spray painted.
Make it an ingredient.
I definitely drank mine 50 years ago.
Yeah, we should
The second award goes to the team that, if their product comes out really well, you won't actually need any of the soft skills I was talking about, because you won't have to talk to anyone ever. That'd be fun, right? So the 4 Comp Sci Nerds by Comp Sci Nerds Award goes to Real Talk.
Are you guys gonna drink it?
No.
Yeah.
I probably have a heart attack.
If you want a second award, you drink it.
Yeah.
So the third award goes to the team that is building an app that is actually super cool and isn't trash and is good for you and you want people to use it and it's socially good and all. It's Lettershine. So the queen choice
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
Thank you.
The next award goes to the team that has incorporated the most buzzwords possible into their. We have what is it? Blockchain, AI, machine learning. learning?
Yeah.
Okay, machine learning. What else? Mobile, cloud. Yeah. So the buzzword award goes to Casa.
Do now.
Or just
one side. Okay, go home.
The fifth award goes to the team that had a intermediate slide deck that was okay to say the least. So the please don't use Comic Sans ever again. Burns my eyes. Goes to The final award goes to the team that is the alcohol-related idea. So, Bad and Boozy Award.
I like this
Thank you guys again for a great year, and just big round of hands.
All right, we're going to do really quickly just some feedback. We want to know, what did you like, what did you dislike about this? You don't need to say that Keyshawn sucks. We kind of know that. So, that's just a little taste of the after party roast. But again, we're a feedback-driven organization. We're also adults, so we can handle it if you tell us that we really sucked at something. But what did you like, dislike? We'll keep this very short, but yes.
I really like the breaking out into the conference rooms. I know that was new. That was definitely nice.
Okay, that's actually one of the things we really want to know about. So everybody like that?
Yeah.
Okay, unanimously. No one felt like you were just in your own filth and stink in there.
Part of the experience.
There were a few rooms that smelled pretty.
I'm always in my filth.
Okay. If you all had been in this room the entire time, would you have hated us?
Yes.
Actually, I like the option of having both going to the conference and actually being open.
Did anybody break anything back there? And you're being really nice to us, telling us now, than having Capital Factory tell us later.
No, than having me find it.
Yeah, so
That's
please,
really
if you broke something or something broken, or you just say it was broken and it wasn't you, but that would really do us a solid, because we kind of put some reputation on the line with Cap Fact to do that, because they really don't let most people go back there, but they let us, and we want to be respectful. So, will one of you, if someone broke something, will you promise to tell Shayna about this?
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Really liked all the feedback opportunities. Thought the mentors coming around were great. On the good hand, on the other side, would have loved a little more time for digestion in between coming back from the surveys and the feedback from the mentors to discuss some of the surveys.
Does everybody else agree with that?
Yes.
Does anyone not agree with that?
Before having to make the slide decks and stuff for last night, because there wasn't enough time to kind of sit down and, because we all went to different places, right? So to come back and talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
I wish more of these slides, or not this one specifically, but I wish they were a little bit more readily available to us, maybe through the Facebook group or
The
something.
playbook? Did the playbook have them?
The playbook was missing some of the actual
Missing,
slide
yeah.
decks.
It's on that way on purpose, actually, but, so you're saying have more in there, okay.
Or just email out. Every time someone's presenting, just email that out.
We would rather, that doesn't scale super well. We'd rather just keep it at the playbook and update it there. So you guys have that forever, right? It's not going anywhere. Cool. What else? Yes?
I think maybe dividing out the mentor sessions, because I understand they're really busy, but maybe having 3 at once and then 3 at a different time would have been better, because we felt like all 6 was very overwhelming and we hadn't had time to actually develop anything between then.
Okay. Drinking from a fire hose. Okay. Yeah.
I think we might be at the opposite end of the issue, but we had 7 people and another group had 3 or 4. so, you know, some kind of way to both choose the ideas and get the idea that you want, but also kind of an even split instead of one that.
So, choice and freedom and
Yeah.
mandatory assignment. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a live stream. Was there a live stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if
How do we get the live stream?
it's a live stream? So it's
So like on 3DS
Tech
website?
Live on YouTube.
AustinTechLive.com.
Facebook page.
If 3-Day Startup was going to offer you something that was the next step from this, what would you want?
Resources.
What do you mean? Give us more.
Continue building your platform or whatever you decided to build, just like maybe a contact to continue that conversation.
Okay, so you're saying conversations with volunteers of the team to stay in contact with your project.
People with connections, so you can talk to people, so you can continue what we're doing here.
What else?
An investor panel.
All these people have written checks or received checks at some point. We're not going to actually write checks because it's. We actually will at the Global Roundup. There'll be a check writing panel there, but the times that we have brought people who actually write checks, they get pissed because usually you're not ready enough and they don't trust you. Not that you're not that you're a bad person. It's that they don't know a team that's. They don't care about ideas as much as they care about teams. And most investor decks, you need to talk about your team a lot more. But we're a little different because you all were strangers 3 days ago.
I think it's better that there's no investment because it's much more genuine, all working together, takes the pressure off, not
And
the
you
financial
collaborate, yeah.
projections, like that would be made up. So I think it's better there's no investment check.
But they are coached to ask questions that investors would ask. And the whole point is that if they ask you a tough question and you kind of get a deer in headlights look, it happens here, which is awesome compared to doing it 3 months in front of a panel.
Sorry, I meant like, you said, what would you like afterwards?
Okay, yeah.
And I meant like after college. But like,
Oh, like another chance to pitch in front of investors.
Yeah.
Awesome. Does everybody, other people like that?
I don't know if it's necessarily
Yeah.
bad or reasonable, considering we might not all go on to work on this idea.
You have to. Yeah, it's required. Just so you know, at most 3DS teams, there's an average of 5 teams pitching. 2 of them are still going 3 months later. 1 of them 6 months later usually hits one of those milestones. And our most successful ventures are very often things that weren't pitched at the weekend. And because we're not a competition, also a lot of times the teams form amongst people who are on different teams and want to do stuff. So don't worry about it if you're. Did the facilitators tell you about what to do next? Did they give you the next steps thing?
No.
Okay, here's what you do. Have a team meeting a week from now. And in that meeting, whoever, like, assign deliverables, assign tasks. Don't ask, hey, who's really excited, wants to move on this, because people are liars. And it's not that they're bad people, they're just saying things. So assign tasks. Then meet another week or 2 weeks from then. At that meeting, some people have done their task, some people haven't. The people who haven't done their task, other than giving them like a slightly shameful look, no need to get into it, right? After 3 or 4 meetings, and one person has literally never completed anything, it's not hard to say, hey, you're not adding much value. Whereas if you tell them to go away on the first meeting, it's like, fuck you guys. I'm great, why would you? And they're going to badmouth you. Whereas if you gently they'll fall away if they're not adding value, they'll continue to be an advocate for you. And in the early stages, people talking about you and them meeting an investor who might want to meet you, them making that connection is more valuable than anything else. So that's the next step. Yeah.
I think it would be, I don't know how the global roundup works, but I think it would be really cool for maybe a call to action for 3DS teams. Apply.
Yeah.
You may, people who went through 3DS, you apply, you select, and that's where you pitch for.
That's literally what we are doing.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Also, as alumni, it is ridiculously cheap. It'll cost you something like $30 or something, and you'll get fed the entire weekend.
Tickets are on sale now. Get them while they're hot.
Yeah. They get expensive.
Roundup.3daystartup.org.
They get expensive if you don't buy them, though. So I would strongly encourage you to buy them soon. What else would you all like after this as a way to support you? And it's also okay to say, listen, Cam, this was a great weekend, but I'm not sure starting a company is in my future. But I would like this. I would like help on how to be entrepreneurial in my career. Or I would like a workshop on how to make my LinkedIn profile good. Like, what is the kind of stuff you guys would like after that?